Hey there, this is Julian from the Barney Lab. If you can hear by the sound of my voice, it probably sounds a bit fuzzy. And you see this redness in my nose. Yes, I'm kind of sick. Yesterday I had to shift my webinar from yesterday to today because I had no voice yesterday. But anyway, I'm gonna talk to you about a little real life story. Okay, when I was recently in Korea, there was one thing that I was looking forward to the most in going to Seoul. Okay, because in Seoul, in a chain of stores that some of you may have in your country, Dean and DeLuca, the Seoul Dean and DeLuca, they make the best tiramisu ever. Okay, in terms of taste, in terms of size, it was fantastic. It was literally like, you could make a square of your 2 pounds. It was that big, and it was about that thick. It had very detailed layers. It had generous mascarpone cheese, and it was the best. Okay. So I was recently in Korea because I was accompanying my wife for some of her work stuff there, and I didn't care for much else but looking forward to tiramisu. And the first 2 days, weather was bad and we didn't get to go out very much, and plus there was other things to be taken care of. But the day I got down to hit the malls down in Myeongdong, I went to the place where I previously had this awesome tiramisu, the Shinsegae department store in the basement. Okay, in the basement of Shinsegae in Myeongdong. I was looking forward to buy it, and I was really planned in my head to buy whatever stock of tiramisu that they had and just binge on it when I get back to the hotel room. Okay, so when I got to the station, I very photographically remembered the road to Medina de Luca. I went there, and you know what? I looked at I walked there. I walked towards the place very briskly, very purposefully, and I had, I already had the thought in my head that I'm gonna have that tiramisu or else. Okay, or else if not, I'm going to cry. I'm literally going to cry. It was, and as I walked there, I saw the shelf, and I looked at all the different cakes. I didn't see it there. I saw carrot cake. I saw the banafis. I saw the red velvet. Blah blah blah, and no tiramisu. So I asked the person, did you happen to have some tiramisu around? Is it because you ran out of space? I see there's some new cakes here, but I don't see there's anywhere on display. All right, do you have it somewhere? I said no. Excuse me. What about a different outlet? I said no. It's like, I was here just a couple of months ago, and why is there no tiramisu now? So it says you got deleted from the menu. So, I was lost. I was stunned basically, and I had actually put aside my appetite just to eat 5 pieces of tiramisu at one go. I was probably prepared to buy like 15, 20 of them, whatever, and it wasn't there. So my wife ordered a slice of carrot cake, drive me aside, said, let's take this first. And then she was like, well, we'll probably find some somewhere else, But you know how difficult it is to find good tiramisu, right? Right? It's not everywhere that makes it good. It's one of the toughest cakes to make. And honestly, it's probably tough to find decent tiramisu, and even harder to find really excellent ones. So, okay, and then so there was another one. I think it was called like biscotta or something like that. All right, I haven't seen an oval shape, and then I was like, could I taste it? And no, hang on. Before that point, I was okay. So we continue the video. Just now there's a visitor, and I had to let the person in anyways. So I was basically, when I knew that I didn't have it, my wife was like, let's go find something else. And then I was like, no, it's not gonna be possible to find good tiramisu. All right, is you know how hard it was to find this one, right? And then she was like, well, you look kind of not your usual self. You look very, what's the word? You look very uneasy. You look kind of, you look like something really bad happened. And then at a point, I just like burst out crying, literally. You know, I was like openly sobbing, like my grandmother died. You know, and it was just about as bad as when the time when I went to the hospital, only to find that my grandma just breathed her last breath, and I just like burst out crying. Okay, and then so I very quickly whipped out my sunglasses, it was the Korean style, you know, the really big ones, just you probably seen the camel print ones, to cover that you know the expression. But I mean, nonetheless, like tears was like dripping down my face everywhere. Okay, and then after that, I told you, yes, there was another like booth called Biscotta or something like that, and I tried that. I was in my mind prepared to buy the whole thing because they had this one in the big tub, you know. And then it's like, which one would you like to have? The small was kind of overpriced, in my opinion. It was like $8. It was like really small oval, and it was overpriced compared to like $8 for that at the Luca. So I was like, you know, well, if you can't let me try, if you can't let me try it, I'm just gonna get the small one. I want everyone to get a big one, but if it sucks, I'm not gonna get it. So I tried that one, and it sucked. Literally dumped it. All right, $8. So just dumped it after one spoon. It was crap. I mean, it wasn't really crap. It was like decent, but it wasn't worth $8, and it definitely wasn't anywhere compared to the Duca. I went to another place, tried it, like, and I can't remember the other place. It wasn't memorable. It was worse than the first one. And then I had 2 spoons of it, and I gave it to like a beggar on the street just by the railway station, right? I should have done it with the first one. But I mean, I was just too emotional at the time. The second one, I happened to see this homeless, needy person on the road. I was like, okay, you can have that, right? Now the point that I'm trying to make, okay, and if you saw my Instagram, I eventually found some equally good, decent tiramisu, okay. But the point I'm trying to make is that, you know, sometimes when we're trading, we're looking for the ideal setup. Like recently, I was talking a lot about the straddle method, and it's a method that I gave away for free on my YouTube. You check it out if you haven't seen it already, right? And the straddle breakout method, there's one particular condition that you need in order to make a good trade for a straddle breakout trade, which is that, you know, the longer the RSI is like lying flat, all right, better, okay, on the middle line, and also the more the Bollinger is squeezed, okay, while the RSI is lying flat, that one is going to be really good. And sometimes some people, they miss it, and frankly, when I was doing my own testing, I missed it out I missed it sometimes. I saw a really good setup and I was like, ah, crap, you know, I'll just try the next one where everything else, let's say, okay, RSI's in the middle, ATR is on the relatively low, let's just take the trade. It doesn't work the same way, okay? So when we don't get what we want, the natural reaction is, you know, the hurt, the frustration, you know, the rebound. Speaking of rebound, some of you probably, you know, got your taste of rebound punishment for like going out with crappy girlfriends or boyfriends, following a breakup, right? So anyways, it's the same thing. When we don't get what we want, we get frustrated, out of hurt and frustration, we just go for any other damn thing available. But, you know, if you get onto something good, you're lucky, because most people are not. most people will get something that is worse. There's nothing in comparison that is going to leave you into a path of wreckage and destruction of your resources in finding that good trade. True or true. Okay? And then where traders are concerned, then comes the losing streak. And what could be worse is that for some of you who believe in martingaling, which is not totally a bad thing, it works with some strategies, but if you have a bad setup and it's just not something to do that, okay? So martingaling plus a losing streak could make you wipe out your finances that much quicker, and well, it could be pretty bad. So at the end of the day, it still comes back to you going to find a good setup to build up your account back again. Having you think that if you had regained some peace, some concentration to find a setup that is what you're looking for, you probably could have gotten, satisfaction from a good trade. It may have taken some time to find it, but you've got satisfaction in a good trade, no money wasted, and no additional hurt and frustration from money wasted as well. So for me, I blew another $16 on crap tiramisu, and I finally found another one that is good. So if any of you head down to South Korea and you like tiramisu, I highly recommend that you look for a cafe called A Twosome Place. Okay, A Twosome Place. So that day, when I was on the way back to the subway, after handing that second piece of tiramisu to the homeless person, I came across this cafe, which I've seen featured in a couple of Korean dramas. They sponsored a Korean drama to be featured there. A Twosome Place. Okay? The tiramisu there is just as big, or maybe just probably like a centimeter shorter, like a centimeter in terms of length and width, centimeter less than Dina Luca. It's just as thick, almost. Well, I can't exactly remember. It was almost thick. The layering was there. Generous chocolate cocoa pound on the top, mascarpone and cheese, a thin layer of coffee in the middle, and then there's the base and everything. And the texture was fantastic. Best part is it was cheaper as well. It was like 5,600 won versus 8,000 won, or 8,200 won, something like that. So I said, how many do you have? And they had just that tray, which was like 6 pieces. I got all 6. Unfortunately, I had to leave the next day. I would have wanted to go back for more, but anyway, I was like, that was the main mission for me on accompanying my wife for that trip. So mission accomplished. Little boy was happy. And so I hope that you can relate this with your trading sometimes. When you out of frustration, desperation, anxiety for something that you lost out, a fear of loss, sometimes it makes us do silly things. But just be reminded that it ain't ever as good. And you still want to find what's originally the best. Okay? Goes for you out there as well. If any of you have been setting your eyes on someone in the workplace that you always wanted to date for, or someone in college, and it's been 5 years since graduation, but you still cannot get your mind off a certain person, don't give up. Because you know that even if you meet with someone else, it will never be the same, and you will still be thinking of that person or a tiramisu cake. Bye for now. Good trading.